This drawing, we're going to be looking at how to draw an object in front of you. This is obviously a mushroom. We're going to draw it step by step. I'm going to use a little bit of time lapse just to show the greater steps, but the first thing you're going to start with is an outline, and then you would then progress. Once you've got the outline, you would then progress onto using different media, such as coffee and old tea bags, a little bit of oil and some water to add some texture and different qualities to your drawing. Okay guys, so step one is going to be drawing the outline, so you're going to have a really good look at what you're drawing. Okay, so you want to get the basic shape right, and you want to make sure that you're trying to get those proportions in. Okay. Hi guys, so step two is going to be, once the outline's done, is going to start to put some detail into your drawing. So for that I'm going to use a little bit of coffee. Now these are just instant coffee granules, you really don't need much, and you use them a little bit like watercolour. So you just put a little bit of water on, and you can add a little bit more. You can also use a little bit of tea for this as well, so old tea bags work quite nicely. So I'm then going to start to add in the areas of brown, of darker shaded that I want to put in. So I'm just going to start by putting in, just following some of the lights and darks on the mushroom itself. So just adding those little details in. And as you can see, it'll start to take shape from there. So step three guys, I've now put the coffee where I want it, and I'm going to add just a little bit of blue watercolour, so really dark blue watercolour. If you've got watercolours, then obviously you can do this stage, but if not, don't worry about it. You know, we can darken up your coffee, or you can add maybe some blue colour pencil, or just mix it up a little bit. So don't worry if you haven't got any. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit on where the shadow is really. So I'm just going to put some blue in here. Now brown coffee, obviously the coffee goes really nice with Prussian blue, so it really does makes it go pop quite nicely. But when we do a bit of graphite with the cooking oil in a bit after this is all dried off, you'll see that we can deepen the colour so it's not so kind of so bright. I'm going to just wash that out a little bit, just bringing it down here, and just use a little bit of the tissue, some kitchen roll, just to dampen that off, just that little bit. And now I'm going to carry on working into these areas that I just want to just take a little bit darker with the blue. So step four is now I'm going to start to work back in with my pencil in certain areas, and then apply some some shading down here and around just where the darkest parts of the shadow are. If you look underneath where the mushroom sits, you'll find that the fine line just underneath it is where you get that really dark line, and that's where the darkest part of your shadow is. So I'm going to put that back in, and then put some more detail back into the mushroom itself. I'm going to be careful where it's still drying, so obviously you want to make sure that it's completely dry in those areas. So step 4, now that I've put all that detail in, step 5 is going to be just to add a little bit of cooking oil just to smudge that shadow out, to make it a little bit more smooth. So you literally use a tiny blob, like little tiny bit on your tissue, and if you just rub it in the parts where you want it quite dark first, and then you can see how dark it goes, and then you literally just use this tissue just to smudge it out. Like that, and you can see that it makes it really quite dark in where you've actually applied the oil. And then I'm just going to use a little bit on the actual mushroom itself in some of the darker areas where I just want to smudge that bit up as well. And that, guys, is a finished observational drawing of a mushroom using coffee, normal pencil, a little bit of watercolour and cooking oil. Okay, have a go, try your best.